caffeine
It's actually pronounced caffeine. Sometimes it's mispronounced, so sometimes they say caffeine, but we should say caffeine. Yes.
so caffeine อยู่กับแบงค์ช่วยดูตามาชัยจาก British Council ครับ
Hi, and I'm Kid Delia from the British Council.
ยินดีต้อนรับทุกท่านนะครับเข้าสู่ Learn English with FameLab ครับรายการที่ให้ทุกคนครับได้เรียนภาษาอังกฤษผ่านเวทีเล่าวิทยาศาสตร์ภายใน3นาทีหรือโครงการ FameLab นะครับรับรองว่าวันนี้เนี่ยเราจะได้เรียนภาษาอังกฤษและสาระน่ารู้ทางวิทยาศาสตร์นะครับที่น่าสนุกกันนะฮะไม่ว่าจะเป็นคำศัพท์ต่างๆสำนวนนะครับแล้วก็รูปแบบประโยคที่น่าสนใจด้วยนะครับเรียกว่าวันนี้เนี่ยเรายิงนกนัดเดียวได้ปืน2ตัวไม่ใช่ยิงปืนนัดเดียวได้นก2ตัวกันเลยทีเดียวครับแต่ว่าครูคิดครับเราจะพูดภาษาอังกฤษยังไงครับที่ทำอย่างเดียวนะได้2อย่างพร้อมๆกันครับอันนี้
Yes, actually we do have a saying. We say to kill two birds with one stone. So it doesn't mean that we really kill a bird or kill two birds, but we are able to do two things at the same time.
ก็สำหรับภาษาอังกฤษนะครับก็โหดไม่แพ้กันฆ่านกด้วยก้อนหินนะฮะไม่ใช่ปืนนะครับโหดไม่แพ้กันเลย
So what's our topic going to be about today, Bank?
เรื่องนี้เลยครับเรื่องไกลตัวครับอย่างเช่นเรื่องกาแฟแล้วก็คาเฟอีนนะครับโดยหัวข้อในวันนี้เนี่ยก็ได้รับการนำเสนอโดยชารอนนะครับซึ่งเป็นผู้ชนะ FameLab Ireland ปี 2018 นะครับ Let's get to it then, shall we?
Right, let's do it.
Come with me and we'll be in a place of caffeinated coffee. Take a sip and just
Take a sip. What does that mean then?
Well, it means to drink a small amount like this. Yes, normally we use it perhaps when you're drinking something hot, so you don't want to drink too much and burn yourself. So we say take a sip.
All right.
see. It's bitter. That is bitter. Let's talk about coffee. Raise your hand if you love coffee. Now raise your hand if you love tea more than coffee. Wrong answer. That was a test. You're supposed to say coffee. Statistics have shown that 3 in 5 people drink a cup of coffee to start their day. And Mr. Willy Wonka, a candy inventing genius, is one of those people. Check this. Wonka goes to Starbucks and overhears the person in front of him place an order. Can I get an iced half-caf ristretto, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4, palm sugar-free, cinnamon, dolce, soy, skinny, latte, get all that? Nope. And now you're Wonka. So when it's Wonka's turn, he's going to order a simple coffee because he's a simple lad. But just what is it that makes coffee man's best friend? What's the secret ingredient? Well, since you asked, inside of coffee is a stimulant called caffeine, which tricks you.
And I think we heard 2 interesting words in it. So coffee is a man's best friend.
Right. So a man's best friend, the term is obviously used to talk about normally a dog. So a dog is usually a man's best friend. But in this case, she's obviously using it to talk about coffee. So coffee has become a man's best friend in this situation.
So everyone who's working will always have a coffee as a man's best friend, I guess.
Or maybe tea, depending, yeah.
Okay, and another word, caffeine. So caffeine, I usually pronounce it as caffeine, right?
Yeah, I hear that a lot as well in Thailand. So it's actually pronounced caffeine. Sometimes it's mispronounced, so sometimes they say caffeine, but we should say caffeine, yes.
So caffeine.
Yes.
Which tricks your brain into thinking you're not tired. So when your brain says sleep, caffeine says no. You see, our bodies produce a chemical called adenosine, which binds to receptors in the brain and slows down brain activity, thus making us feel sleepy. But due to having a similar structure, when caffeine is in town, it impersonates adenosine and binds to the receptor instead. So instead of being calmed, your brain gets triggered, which causes the nerve cells to speed up. And your pituitary gland, which produces hormones, senses this, starts freaking out, and signals hormones left, right, and center to release adrenaline, the fight or flight response.
So I think we heard fight and flight response.
Right. So this is something we hear a lot in psychology. So we have to think of a situation when someone's afraid. So the body reacts. So there's 2 responses. We can either say fight, which means we fight against that fear, or we can flight, meaning basically to fly away or run away.
So fly like a bird or fight like a lion then?
Yeah, sure, precisely.
Right. So It says coffee makes our brain gets triggered. So what does triggered really mean? I usually hear the word triggered when we're, let's say, using gun.
Right, yes. So the trigger is the part of the gun which you pull, obviously. In this case, coffee is compared to a trigger. So if the coffee is going to shoot something, so gives you a reaction.
So like a kick, a kick to our brain. It gets that our brains get triggered. Then.
Yes, correct.
Count of 3. I need everyone to put their hands up and say, yeah! 1, 2, 3. Yeah! That is exactly what adrenaline says. Adrenaline comes to spice up your life by making your pupils dilate, your heart beat faster, your blood pressure increase, and your blood vessels constrict.
A lot of interesting words here, isn't it? So pupils dilate.
Right.
And what else there's was heart rate increase, and then there's blood vessels constricts.
Right. So should we look at the words dilate and constrict, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So dilate just means to make a part of the body become bigger, and it's commonly used with eye, or what was the word we heard?
Pupil.
Pupil. Right.
Don't ask me about pupil dilation. My eyes just too small.
Good. And then the opposite basically is constrict. So constrict means to make smaller or tighter, basically.
Yep.
Yes.
So in this example, we were talking about blood vessels. So when we get excited, our blood vessel constricts or tightens so that our blood pressure increases for the flight or fight response.
Right.
All these symptoms are indicators that you've been hit by, you've been struck by smooth adrenaline. Adrenaline also affects dopamine levels by preventing it from getting reabsorbed by the brain, which just means you'll feel good. The sun will be shining, the angels are singing, and you'll just feel so happy. Ironically, this is actually the same thing cocaine does, but not to the same extent. Question, will drinking coffee kill you? It's impossibly possible. The lethal dose of caffeine is 150 milligrams per kg of your body. So depending on your weight, disclaimer, don't try this at home, you would need to consume between 6 and 7 grams of caffeine, which would be like drinking 50 or more cups of coffee in a day, which is essentially impossible to do because your body can't take that.
Right. So consume.
Right.
I think we usually hear about the word consume as consumer.
Sure. So this is a formal word used more formally. So consume means to use a lot, or in this case, to eat a lot, or here, drink a lot, yes.
So, but can I say I consume my lunch?
Of course you can say that. I mean, some people might look at you a bit weirdly, but yeah, so I think it's better just to say I ate or I had lunch. That would be more natural, yes.
And then impossibly possible, I think that's two contradicting words, isn't it? What does that really mean?
Sure. I think we need to look at the example here. So what did she say? She said coffee
can impossibly possible kill you.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, normally if you drink coffee, it probably won't kill you, but there is a possibility if you drink too much coffee, right? Yeah. So I think that's why she used the two words together, impossibly possible. So it could be possible, but...
And just to emphasize the meaning.
Right.
Ain't that right, Wonka? Wonka over here is still in his first cup. He's not going for the 50. On average, he drinks 1 to 3 cups a day. Keeps him feeling alert and energized. Without coffee, he'd feel anxious, grumpy, and turn into a Oompa Loompa. Oh, would you look at that? I gotta go. It's coffee time.
So, Kukit, what do you think about the performance?
Yeah, I really liked it, especially the way she sung during her presentation. I think that obviously was very engaging for the audience.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think she digest the content quite simply as well. And remember the diagram, I think that simplified things quite a lot too.
Yeah, I think really clear understanding of the effect that caffeine has on the body.
Yeah. ก่อนจบคลิปในวันนี้นะครับต้องขอฝาก FameLab International ร่วมเชียร์อาจารย์ดิวหรือดร.สุปรีพินิจสุนทรจากมหาวิทยาลัยขอนแก่นครับผู้ชนะ FameLab Thailand ในปีนี้นะฮะร่วมไปแข่งในรอบรองชนะเลิศในวันที่ 11 ถึง 12 พฤศจิกายนนี้ติดตามข่าวสารเพิ่มเติมได้ผ่านทางโซเชียลมีเดียเพจ British Council Thailand สำหรับในวันนี้ครับต้องขอตัวลาไปก่อนแล้วพบกันใหม่ในตอนหน้านะครับแล้วเดี๋ยวเราไปทานกาแฟกันต่อดีกว่าครับคุณคิดป่ะครับโอเค
Bye